Tales from the Bilberry Moon Cafe. The day that Claude became a tree began like any day in spring, and while attending history, young Claude was caught for whispering. His teacher bellowed, "Come out here!" and Claude obeyed in haste and fear. His guilt could scarcely be denied. His teacher made him stand outside. "You'll stand there till I call you in. A monument to all who pass that it's a sin," his teacher said, "to whisper in my history class. And if you fidget just one bit, then I shall get to hear of it, and further penance shall ensue. You'll stand there till the next day, too." As others passed him with a sneer, they mocked him with their taunts and quips, such as, "The buses don't stop here," and "Are you there expecting tips?" While some just stared and some saluted, little Claude stood meek and muted. Though his legs began to itch, Claude dared not so much as twitch. On and on the jibes continued. Time had never seemed so slow. Children asking, "You been naughty? If you're watered, will you grow? Don't you like us staring at you? Didn't know we had a statue standing there with feet of clay. You'll just get in people's way." As the bell rang out for dinner, Claude still dared not move 1 inch. As his classmates scampered past him, Claude was scared to blink or flinch. Tired and hungry, still he stood, pale as chalk and stiff as wood, while teachers passed and quite ignored poor forgotten little Claude. Through the sunless afternoon, Claude dared not do aught but wait for his teacher, hoping soon he'd be spared this lonely fate. Bell for home time rang at 4. His knees were weak, his feet were sore, but little Claude stood quite alone, as his school chums bustled home. Darkness came at evenfall. Little Claude stood like a ghost, hoping, praying someone might just relieve him of his post. Wondered, as the moonlight shone, had his history teacher gone? Harsh and stringent discipline just for simply whispering. What of father, mother too? Would they not be worried now? Would they wonder where he was? Could they intervene somehow? All through night time, like as not, he'd be rooted to the spot. Could his teacher still be watching, just to check he wasn't dodging? Just then, Claude began to feel angry throbbing in his veins. From his ankles, toes, and heels sprang forth roots of knotted skeins. Flowing twines began to ooze through the leather of his shoes. His coat and trousers rent asunder as his body shook like thunder. As his clothing fell away, poor Claude began to cough and choke. His arms and shoulders, neck and head became a bough of mighty oak. And Claude cried out in wild despair as leaves and twigs sprang from his hair, and all around him in the dark grew hard, tough, rich brown, splintered bark. All alone at dead of night, his leaves and branches spreading free, so high and wide with giant's might, poor little Claude became a tree. His branches splintered classroom doors, his roots upturned the cold stone floors, as windows shattered all around, the ceiling cracked and tumbled down. His growth, it seemed, refused to stop, for as the walls began to shake, the bricks and beams began to drop and made the old foundations quake. The whole school building groaned and wobbled, the roof collapsed and chimneys toppled. Still through the walls his branches thrust in swirling mists of smoke and dust. And soon the schoolhouse stood no more, because it seemed without much trouble Claude had soon reduced it all to piles of bricks and wood and rubble. Above the swirling mists of smoke stood Claude, the fearsome mighty oak, with his branches wild and high like claws against the midnight sky. Shoulders shaking, bolt upright, sat the teacher, mumbling wild. Morning sun in place of night, and cruel memories as a child. Now a teacher, Claude could never leave a child outside forever. Surely faults of such a fashion can be cured with mere compassion, for through needless cruelty, in isolated purgatory, it is perhaps small mystery that little Claude became a tree.